Hello everybody, and welcome back to the channel. My name's Ditterman, and welcome back to some Hearthstone news. Yes, we have a new patch on the horizon. It's the 18.2 patch, and it is coming very shortly with a limited time event on September 8. And it includes a couple of new Battlegrounds features, or one feature, and quite a few updates. So we're going to go through that together today, and I'll give you my thoughts on it. So to start with, we have the new feature, which is Battlegrounds Parties. So with the introduction of Battlegrounds Parties on September 8, players will be able to queue up for Battlegrounds matches with more than one other player. So that's quite exciting. You can join up with quite a few other people. Battlegrounds Parties will allow groups of players to queue Battlegrounds together, and it supports a full lobby for private games. So you can literally have a full custom private game to yourself, which is really cool. Now, I'm not entirely sure how this is going to work with rating, but we're going to see here. Here's how it works. I should probably read that first. Up to 4 players will be able to queue for a normal ranked Battlegrounds match together. So that makes sense. Once the group lobby exceeds 4 players, the game type will automatically switch to a private Battlegrounds match for 5 to 8 players. Climb in rating with a handful of friends or invite the whole family to determine once and for all who is the true Battlegrounds pro of the bunch. Okay, so I think what that means is you can still climb in rating if you have 4 or less players in your group. So I think that's how it works. And if you do go above 4, that means that it's going to be a private match. And I'm not sure that means that, yeah. So it's got here private game with more than 4 people. And I don't think you will be given rank or rank up from that type of game. But if you have less than or 4 or less, then you can still gain your in rating in MMR. So sort of an important change there, because obviously if you had 8 people in the game together, you could easily just structure it so one person won every single time, and you could just get to the top of MMR, you know, with no problems whatsoever. So that sort of makes sense. Now you can do it with 4 people though, so it's quite good. Obviously at the moment you can only invite one other person. So this is a really nice change. Looking forward to trying it out with a few friends, and yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. So really glad that they've done this. A lot of support for the Battlegrounds, which is fantastic because it's such a great game mode, and I think it really is. It really does deserve the support that it is getting. So yeah, really cool change. So awesome. We're going to move on now. We're going to talk about some new heroes. So we have Lord Barov as our first new hero. He has a 1 gold hero power. Guess which player will win their next combat? If they win, get 3 coins. Alright, so betting on who's going to win the next match is kind of interesting in some regards. So this is going to sort of make that app which lets you know what people have when you've played them very useful, because obviously you can sort of judge who is going to be stronger. Now, it doesn't really specify which player you're betting on or which game you're betting on. I assume it's going to be on yourself versus someone else. Now, when I sort of look at this and I sort of think about those games where you have someone leave early, it's going to be quite easy to get your 3 gold coins if you've got an early leaver. But in a normal game, it might be still a little bit difficult. So sort of a really cool hero in that you've got to sort of think about how strong you actually are, if it is you that you're betting on, which I assume it probably is, and you've got to sort of judge it against the other person as well. But yeah, kind of interesting hero power. I don't think it's going to be overly strong. You do get, it's effectively a free minion with 3 gold coins, but yeah, it's sort of interesting because if you get this early, you might be able to tavern up really aggressively with those extra 3 coins as well, because that is a lot of gold that you'll be getting if you win every single turn. You know, if you get your first 3, that's 9 gold. That's an extra 9 gold that you have on top of your opponents. So yeah, this has the potential to be very strong. And if you run into levers with this guy, then you're going to be making a lot of gold. But yeah, going to be kind of interesting to see how they balance this. But anyway, going to be very interesting. All right, next one we have Jandis Barov. Swap, lock, and shop it. 0 cost hero power. Swap a friendly non-golden minion with a random one in Bob's Tavern. Now, when it says a random one in Bob's Tavern, I assume it means from the ones that are on his side of the board. It's not just any minion in his tavern. So sort of interesting here. You're sort of getting you're swapping out maybe a really rubbish alley cat and you are getting, you know, something amazing like a tier 6 minion. So that could be really, really good, obviously. Sort of an interesting play style in that regard, because you're going to have sort of a slot open to trade, aren't you? So you're going to have to maybe use a token and then swap it across and then swap it back. But that means you're using up a slot on the board, which may not be a bad thing, but my sort of first impressions with this is that it might be a little bit tricky to work with, just because you obviously only get a random minion. It's not guaranteed what you get, so it might be a bit like the case with Daryl, where you have to buy a whole heap of minions and then isolate one minion so you can make sure you get it with the hero power. So you can effectively buy it with 0 gold, but you are also trading, you know, something else, which might be, hopefully, will probably be a pretty average minion that you're swapping it for. So I'm not convinced that this hero is going to be super strong. I might be completely wrong. I might be completely missing what the whole point of this is and how it's going to be really, really strong. But anyway, I'm interested to try it out to see if it is actually amazing. But yeah, my initial thoughts are it's not going to be overly strong. But who knows? I've been wrong before. Alright, so we have our last hero here. We have Forest Warden Omu. Everbloom is his passive hero power. After you upgrade Bob's Tavern, gain 2 gold this turn only. Okay, so kind of interesting hero. Obviously, well, not overly interesting. It's pretty basic sort of hero power, but getting 2 gold after you tavern up can be quite useful, obviously. It sort of changes the dynamic of how you level up. So instead of sort of buying something first and then leveling up like you would to go to Tavern Tier 3 normally, you could tavern up first and then maybe roll a couple of times and find something really, really nice. So in that regard, I think this is going to be quite a nice hero power. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's anything too drastic. But that extra 2 gold, just like we were saying with Barov, can add up really, really quickly. Because obviously, if you get that every time you tavern up, you're going to have, you know, by turn sort of 4 or 5 when you're up at Tavern Tier 3, that's an extra 6 gold, which you've just got over the other players, which is really, really strong. So, yeah, I don't think it's going to be super overpowered. I think he's still going to be decent, but yeah, kind of interesting hero. They seem to be going to these econ heroes, really focusing on the economy as much as possible. I think out of them all, Lord Barov is probably the one which has the potential to be absolutely broken, but we'll just have to see. I don't think this guy is going to be as crazy, but still a really good pick. All right, and we have a couple of minion changes, I should say. We have a new minion coming to the Battlegrounds. We have the Micro Mummy, straight in from Standard, and it has the exact same stats. So a 1/2 with Reborn. At the end of your turn, give another friendly minion +1 attack. So yeah, really nice mech minion. So obviously, this is actually, I believe this is replacing the Mecharoo. So we scroll down here, yeah, Mecharoo has been removed from the Battlegrounds pool. So that is gone now, and this replaces it. So really nice little minion. When you get the golden copy, it gives +2 attack. And yeah, I really think this is going to be quite a strong minion, because being able to give that +1 attack is really, really nice for mechs, especially if you have a Cobalt Junior. This will buff it up, and this will buff pretty much anything else on your board. So yeah, really nice 1-star card. This should really help mechs out in the early game, because when they only had Mecharoo, it was just really, really weak, because you'd get to Tavern Tier 2 and you'd only have access to the Metal Tooth and the Pogo. So this sort of strengthens early game for mechs, and really for any type of build. You can pick this up and start to buff your board up. So really nice little minion. Reborn is important as well. It helps solve those ties as well. So yeah, definitely see this guy being quite strong. All right, we have an updated minion now. We have Pack Leader. It now has 1 less attack, and it only gives +2 attack to beasts that you play after it. So I think everybody sort of thought that this was going to be broken when they changed it to 2-star. So not a massive surprise to see that they've nerfed it. Still going to be quite good, but certainly the strength of it is going to be reduced significantly. And honestly, I'm happy with that, because it was way too strong for what it did at Tavern Tier 2. So welcome change. Still going to be a decent enough pick, but just limiting that attack value that you get from playing this out, literally just getting it on, you know, turn 2 or 3 or whatever, is quite beneficial, I think, and quite needed, because it was just a bit too much before. All right, we mentioned before that Mekaru has been removed from the Battlegrounds pool, obviously replaced by the Micro Mummy. Now, there are a few changes for Standard, but I'm not going to go through those because I'm not really all that interested in Standard this expansion, so we'll just leave it there. So there are all the changes, guys, for Battlegrounds. Quite interesting. I really like the new feature coming in. That's going to be a lot of fun to play around. Let me know what you think in the comments. And yeah, really exciting to see a few new heroes, a couple of new Econ heroes, and one that I still can't really get a read on with Jandice. She might be good, she might be bad, I don't even know, but looking forward to trying her out. So yeah. Alright guys, well I hope you enjoyed that little update video on the 18.2 patch coming very, very shortly. If you did, maybe think about giving the video a thumbs up, but most importantly I hope you're staying safe and staying healthy, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. See you guys, bye bye.